Okay, it is 6:15 on March 28th, 2022, and we are starting the curriculum and instruction meeting. In attendance are myself, Beverly Albright, Angela Owens, Christine Thompson, Jennifer Leone, and absent so far is Tanya Bell. What's happening?
Mine's off.
Okay. Anyway, for our first topic, we're going to be touching on the Future Ready Index data. Stop.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that's about.
So the first thing I wanted to just bring to your attention is the data that was released a few weeks ago. It was in the news. So what I handed out to you is the first part is a letter that we will put on our website to kind of alert the community and families about the release, which they already know about, but it kind of helps them to understand what the report tells them, what the scores are, and also just things to keep in mind this year, being the terrible pandemic, and just things to keep in mind. The participation in the tests was down last year, so that's on that letter as well. All of the scores were down. Achievement was terrible, so it just kind of explains all of that. And then the next couple pages, I wanted to just give you a broad overview of the data here at Daniel Boone. And so I tried to just make it as simple as possible for now, and then in the fall we'll get a little bit more granular as to the specific grade levels and things like that. But the first page is just how we compare to the state. The second page is how we compared to the state back in 2019, which was the last time the tests were taken, and then how our comparison between 2019 and 2021. So I'll just give you a couple seconds to look at that. And again, this was all taken from the Future Ready Index, which is public knowledge. Anybody can Google Future Ready Index, and it'll take you right to the school's information. And it does get more detail on there as well.
Why is there no score for...
Thank you for asking.
Oh, all right.
I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
So the Keystone data, so that's the Keystone, the lit Keystone, and it's for 11th graders, and so the current data that's reflected would be for the cohort of students who was in 11th grade during the 2020-2021 school year, and data is banked, so assessments are taken before their 11th grade year. So where that insufficient data is, the cohort of 11th graders took the lit Keystone in 10th grade. That would have been in 1920, and since assessments were waived in 1920...
2020. Dear God, not 1920. Right. Got it. It's fine. I was like, well, you never know.
They were exempt from the
Okay.
assessment.
Got it.
And so it's just not enough data.
Yep.
But tons of schools in Berks County, because I actually reached out to BCIU because I was really confused. And tons of the high schools in Berks County have the same thing, so.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up because I wanted to.
I'm sure I should have known that, but it just looked odd.
For everybody to hear, so. Any other questions on the handout?
The dip, I mean, obviously, there was a pandemic, I get it. Is it comparison to like other schools that dip has happened?
So, yeah, as far as the state average, it is very typical. The only thing, if you look at the state comparison on the first page, we're right on track or above the state, except we do have a little bit of lower numbers at the middle school.
Do we know why that is? Is it just?
That's something that when we analyze the data, we will definitely look into.
Yeah.
And it could be, who knows, it could have been the pandemic, it could have been, just that loss of time in instruction, could have been lack of motivation, could have been just a lower number of participants.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
definitely, yeah. Any other questions on that? Right now? Well, if you do, just let me know.
Okay. All right, moving on to the integrated learning update.
Yeah, so just to kind of, Scott had mentioned a lot of the professional learning that's going on. He did that in the technology committee, but I wanted to update you on the integrated learning initiative as a whole. So we've been working on designing courses so that our students can have the DB curriculum with our teachers, whether we're in person or remote or fully asynchronous. So we've been developing those courses. Asynchronous, just to kind of keep you up with all the terminology, means you can access the materials or the resources at any time, anywhere. You don't have to have face-to-face contact with the teacher. And so currently our asynchronous learners go through a third-party vendor, which is now called Imagine Learning. It was always called Edgenuity. As of next school year, our asynchronous learners can have our teachers as their teacher. And so we were developing the courses for rollout this coming year, but it became very apparent that we weren't quite ready our teachers weren't quite ready, didn't feel real comfortable just giving these courses without a trial or pilot period. So we kind of put the brakes on just a little bit, and we're taking the 22-23 school year to pilot and practice using the resources and using the strategies. And so then this school year will be the perfect time to get some feedback from the students, get feedback from just the teachers themselves to see how everything is going and kind of reflect on their design of the courses so that for the 23-24 school year, we can effectively roll it out.
So how will that work? Will they still be enrolled in Imagine?
No.
So they're just going to pilot it, but
So, to our students.
Okay.
So it's almost like a lot of it, some of it might look like a flipped classroom or have the students that are in person with them kind of using the materials, using the resources, the strategies, and then that way the students can kind of give some feedback and say, either this isn't working for me, this is working for me, so the teachers can make it better. So they're
going to be teaching both?
So it's
In essence?
it's all integrated. So
Okay.
it will really.
At the secondary level, this is grade 7 through 12.
Right.
K to 6, we would still be using, even beyond next school year, 23-24, we would still use Imagine Learning
Okay.
as the third-party vendor for our K to 6 students. It's a 7 through 12, it will be an integrated approach so that regardless of what platform that student is learning from, they would have access to the curriculum and that teacher, that particular teacher.
Thank you for clarifying that because
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that it's just 7.
Yeah, I'm just, because I taught my class and then I taught cyber through Ingenuity last year. It was like two completely different curriculums.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, I did it as like a secondary job. Like it was like after hours, but I'm saying like it's two totally different curriculums. Like they didn't line up at all.
Correct.
Like, okay.
And the
So-
intent is with our secondary for them to line up.
Okay.
So that it's our teachers, our curriculum, and our kids in that integrated approach. And that's why we kind of pump the brakes on a little bit so that the rollout of it is a more organic, gradual release process for our professional staff throughout the course of next year and our kids. It gives us another year leadway so we can have it be
So
more
would there be-
effective come 23, 24.
Would there be any advantage then to coming in person if it's the same curriculum?
There would be. I mean, I think one of the things.
No, I mean, I'm just like, if it's the same.
These kids take this test?
Yeah.
We want our kids to be obviously in person.
Right.
That's the best place for them. But we do have families, we understand, that have different
No, I got
needs
that.
and
I
stuff.
just,
So when we took a look at the number of students that are currently in our virtual platform through that third-party vendor at the secondary level, it's, I think it was 37, 15 of which were seniors.
uh-huh.
So the majority of, we don't have a large portion of our kids that are doing that asynchronous.
But do you think
learning.
now that it's going to be in-house, it'll spike?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I really don't think so.
okay.
I think kids want to be in school for the most part.
The intent too is to bring some back from.
No, I totally get that. I just,
But I don't think it will spike, I think it's gonna go down next
Okay.
year. But at least we can offer our curriculum and like you said, so that they're truly getting our experience. and
yeah, because they're not, those programs are not.
Yeah.
And I think it allows for our kids too to be a little bit more fluid. I mean, we know that there's certain situations with our students and families where they may have an extended absence for whatever reason, 4, 5, 6 weeks, where asynchronous may need to be an option for those 4, 5, 6 weeks. But if we're doing that with a third-party vendor, we know that that curriculum doesn't align with us.
Mm-mm.
You're familiar with that. So
Yeah.
if it's our curriculum, we know that those kids are going to be able to come back into us in that environment because it's integrated and pick up where everybody else is.
How did the kids from the third-party curriculum do on the tests compared to the ones that are in person? Did they take the PSSAs too? But
Yeah, they do.
Do you
That's
know?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good, excellent question. I'm trying to think.
I mean, that would be something we'd have to dive into deeper when we do our annual report in the fall with our data summary. We could get that. I mean, we could look for that.
Yeah, that's something I would love to know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be, reading from what things that you read that are out there, like
I'd be
articles
shocked if it was any
that you
better.
don't do
I would be shocked.
so well. Yeah.
Because typically, when you're looking at scores of cyber environments, the scores tend to be lower than what you're seeing in other places. So I'd be hard pressed to think it would be any different, but we could look into it. Drill down to specific kids who work in that environment with that third-party vendor.
do all the kids, like even like the PA Cyber Academy, they have to take PSSAs too, correct? So you can see how they all scored.
Yes.
No.
It'd be interesting to see too if still children that go to those cyber schools opt out more than children that go to in-person schools, because it's a task that they would have to
Go somewhere to take it because they can't just take it at home.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that the participation rate isn't as high.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's exciting to see when this does happen, it will be exciting to see the numbers because they're going to have our caring teachers who are going to be there, going to be available to them and have that connection. So it's gonna be cool.
All right. Moving on to the flexible instruction day plan application.
And that, I just really wanted to let you know that it's due in June and it will be on the committee of the whole agenda
Mm-hmm.
for April so that we can vote on it at the.
And how many did we use this year? Was it 2?
I think it was 3.
3?
2 district-wide, and I think there was one at the middle school in that
Oh, when
power
the-
outage.
Okay.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
and we did recognize that we had some families that were compromised with power then, so
Right.
we adjusted it, but I think it was 2 overall in addition to that third one there at the middle school. So.
Okay.
But our application, this is the third year of the 3-year approved application, so we had to reapply for another 3.
Right.
So that'll be there for you to vote on at the April meeting. And then.
The math program evaluation update.
So, update on that. So we are still moving forward with presentations by different publishers. But we're, obviously not in as much of a time crunch now that we agreed that we don't need it for the start of this school year. Last week we had Mifflin present to the elementary schools, and we had some elementary teachers and specialists and administrators kind of review that and evaluate that program. Also, at the March inserts that we just had, we had K-12 math teachers get together, math representatives from each grade level get together and just talk about the vertical alignment of our curriculum. And I think it was time well spent. Everybody agreed that it was really nice to see what the grade above, grade below teaches, and even knowing where your third graders are going to be as seniors. Everybody really appreciated seeing, being able to look at the topics they teach and see what's repeated, what maybe isn't hit on as well. So it's a nice start to making sure our curriculum is vertically aligned. And that way, too, that's going to help us pick our new math program, because we'll be able to see what aligns the best with our curriculum. That being said, I also wanted to let you know that I have samples back there if ever anyone is interested. I'll bring more in as I get them, but there's the math samples and then the ELA samples from when we got our new ELA program status last year. So anybody during breaks or whatever, you're welcome to look at it. Welcome to see if anything in there references anything you're comfortable with or is a concern to you, and then this will help us too evaluate our new math program and make sure it's aligned with what we want to see. And the publishers are always looking for feedback from anybody. So community members, board members, teachers, doesn't matter. So that's over there. And like I said, I'll bring more grade levels in over the next couple weeks.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else, Angela?
I just had one more thing I wanted to bring up that I didn't put on the agenda. So at one of the committee meetings that we had, I was asked if transportation would be provided at Summer Academic Connections, and the answer was yes.
Okay.
So now that another request for proposal has happened with transportation, we're very hesitant to offer that this year, and it doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen just due to the timeline. So we'll probably be moving forward with no transportation for this year.
Is it still 4 days a week?
It is, yes, still 4 days a week. Yeah, it's the month of July, 2 hours a day. Yeah. So it's just that the transportation piece, I think, has to be, because we have to start advertising.
A lot of it will hinge on, how that RFP comes back and bids and, what the awarding of them are. I hesitate to say it's a definite right now. We may have to suspend it for a year with the intent of bringing it back the following once we have the transportation, but it's hard to tell.
When are you guys going to start
Trying to get
advertising
another
them?
person.
With what's that?
When are we going to start advertising for the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we actually were kind of.
Yeah, very soon, in a week or two.
Can they put the bed
Yeah,
out?
Yeah.
I was gonna say everybody's planning their summer.
Yeah.
I think it was the week after, I said, yeah, we're going to have transportation, and it's the next week.
Yeah, when we had to put the RFP back out a second time, kind of delayed us a little bit. The bids aren't due until Monday the 4th, next Monday. So with still being up in the air with, where we're at with awarding that bid and having it advertised at the same time, we want families to
Yeah.
understand. Now, if for some reason
Those gas
we come back and we're able to
right?
make it happen, it would be a late addition, it would be a bonus. But at this point, we're hesitant to say, yes, we can do it when actually we can deliver.
Because they both have the same
Oh.
start time, correct? Because I have
Why
multiple
would they do
children,
that?
like I'd have
Yeah.
to
We've always done
drive
that.
them all
No,
over.
Why would they
That's a good
increase it
thought,
40%
too.
without
Yeah.
fail?
That's an excellent
Because
thought.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, how would you get
Okay.
your kids to different
When
locations?
she talked to me, she was like all
at the
desperate.
same
Like,
start time as
I
well.
don't know what to say.
and also, what the hell's going on with that bus? In Harrisburg. That's a problem.
Yeah, we're gonna have
That's
to
my very
consider,
good friend.
have to consider
Yeah,
a
her
stagger.
kid.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
To
so
consider
thanks
a
for bringing
stagger.
that up.
These kids need to be kicked off.
might have to do it
When's
like a half hour
transportation
stagger.
tonight?
No.
Or if you just want to put all my kids in one building. Little easier.
It's finance.
Carpool.
It's
Yeah.
finance.
Figure it out. I'll take your kids, you take.
What are the grades?
Or mine are.
Listen, we're not adjusting this for your family.
I think they might, in the 5th, 3rd, 1st. And are you doing preschool too? Oh, really? Okay, they're fine.
They're
all
all
good.
in one building.
Oh, good. Perfect.
You're sending them to summer school?
Yeah, I am. I said last year, they loved it.
What, you need teachers now?
I didn't even have to make them lunch. They came home with lunch
Oh my
every day.
God.
It was great. It was great. Yeah, it was great. Then we went to the pool. We still had plenty of time. Why are you looking at me like that? It was their summer camp, okay? They had. It was their summer camp.
All right.
They did.
Keep telling people that. It is, it's awesome.
They did. They liked the teachers in the
Yeah.
park thing too.
Oh,
and it was
I'm so
tips. Yeah. The pool. Yeah.
All right.
But I think that was it then.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to add? All right, then on that note, it's 6:37 and that ends our meeting.